Welcome to episode 430 of AI Brief. I'm Amin, and I'm absolutely thrilled to get into today's deep dive.
And I'm Leah. We have a really massive lineup to unpack for you today. We are taking all these rapid-fire industry developments, analyzing the data, and figuring out what these underlying shifts actually mean for your daily workflows.
Our mission for this episode is crystal clear. We are unpacking Google's Nano 2, which just claimed the absolute #1 spot for image generation at half the previous cost.
We are also going to examine the intense engineering landscape, specifically how OpenAI secured Meta's $200 million artificial intelligence infrastructure lead.
We will look at a highly revealing Pew study detailing exactly how teenagers are utilizing these new models under their parents' noses.
Then we will shift into a deliberate, measured look at the rest of the landscape today.
Before finishing up with a rapid-fire rundown of the top tools to boost your daily productivity.
Let's jump right into the visual generation market. The sequel to last August's massive viral hit has officially arrived. Nano 2 just dropped, and it has successfully reclaimed the text-to-image crown.
The performance metrics on this release they're honestly astonishing. The model beat both NB Pro and GPT Image 1.5 to take the #1 spot on artificial analysis as well as the LM Arena.
For anyone who hasn't spent time on it, the LM Arena is essentially a crowdsourced blind taste test for AI models. You give a prompt, 2 anonymous models generate an image, and you vote on the best one.
Hitting #1 there means human beings genuinely prefer your output over every other model on the market. It also secured the #3 position specifically for editing tasks.
But the specifications are what truly catch the eye here. We're looking at native 4K resolution scaling natively across various aspect ratios.
The aspect ratio scaling is impressive, but the real technical breakthrough you need to pay attention to is the spatial and object coherence. The model can keep up to 5 distinct characters and 14 separate objects visually consistent within a single generated scene,
Maintaining that level of object permanence without what we call visual bleeding,
where the color of one object hallucinates and bleeds into the texture of another.
which is a massive technical hurdle. Historically, if you asked a model to generate 14 specific items on a table, it would merge them together or simply forget half of them.
I saw those benchmark images, and keeping 14 separate objects completely distinct in a single wide shot seemed impossible based on what we saw just 6 months ago.
But the economics of this release might be even more disruptive than the visual fidelity. The cost sits at roughly 7 cents per image.
To put that into perspective for your API budget, that price point undercuts both Nano Pro and GPT Image 1.5 by nearly a factor of 2.
That changes the math for any developer building an application. Furthermore, it delivers this highly coherent output running at Gemini flash speeds.
Google has already positioned it as the default generation engine across the entire Google and Gemini ecosystem,
while keeping the Pro version available for paid subscribers.
The age-old trade-off between top-tier graphical quality and affordability is effectively over. You no longer have to sacrifice visual consistency just to stay within a strict computing budget.
If you are building consumer apps or automating marketing assets, 7 cents for flawless 4K imagery fundamentally alters your profit margins.
While the cost of generating a perfect image is dropping to pennies, the cost of the engineering talent building these systems is moving in the exact opposite direction.
The engineering talent wars are taking a dramatic new turn this week. OpenAI just pulled Rooming Pang away from Meta's superintelligence labs after a tenure of only 7 months.
The background on this move is fascinating. Pang served as Meta's artificial intelligence infrastructure lead.
Meta had originally poached him from Apple last summer during an all-out, highly aggressive hiring spree.
The compensation package was reported at over $200 million. Prior to that, he was running Apple's Models Group, where he heavily shaped the foundation of Apple Intelligence.
What stands out here is the persistence. OpenAI spent months actively courting him, persisting even after he assured his colleagues that Meta's internal infrastructure was completely solid.
Building out the infrastructure for these models requires managing clusters of tens of thousands of GPUs perfectly in sync. People who can do that effectively at a global scale are arguably the most valuable employees on the planet right now.
In addition to that high-profile infrastructure acquisition, OpenAI also hired Riley Walls.
Walls is the engineer known for prototyping highly viral consumer-facing hits like Jmail and Find My Parking Cops.
The objective with that hire is to prototype entirely new user interfaces.
It is a brilliant two-pronged strategy.
Yeah.
You acquire the absolute top-tier talent to build the massive compute clusters and simultaneously hire the rogue interface builders who know exactly how to make those models go viral with everyday users. users.
Analyzing the broader talent landscape, the intense, frenetic hiring wars we saw over the summer have cooled to some degree.
However, massive movement continues behind the scenes, predominantly driven by XAI and Meta.
The rapid departure of such a heavily compensated, high-profile hire demonstrates a fundamental market reality. Company fit, internal culture, and strict product direction are ultimately trumping pure financial compensation for these top-tier engineers.
When you are already operating in the hundreds of millions of dollars, the deciding factor becomes the work environment. Engineers of this caliber want to ensure the infrastructure they build aligns perfectly with the shipping velocity of the end products.
We spend a lot of time looking at the elite engineers building these massive systems, but we need to look at who is actually adopting them at scale. A new Pew Research Center survey of 1,458 United States teenagers and their parents reveals exactly how the next generation is utilizing this technology today.
The data confirms that mainstream adoption among younger demographics is definitively here. The primary uses reported by teenagers are information gathering, assistance with schoolwork, and purely entertainment-driven interactions.
A highly revealing statistic emerged regarding academic integrity. 60% of the students surveyed believe that AI-assisted cheating is widespread among their peers.
That number jumps to an incredible 75% among the teenagers who actually use the technology themselves.
The perception gap between different demographics is highly informative. Teenagers generally view the technology overwhelmingly positively.
They cite its ability to increase their daily efficiency and simply make life easier. They're outsourcing their cognitive load for mundane tasks.
They do, however, note potential negative outcomes, specifically identifying future job loss or a reduction in human creativity.
The most fascinating data point from the survey highlights a massive disconnect at home. 40% of parents report never having a single conversation about this technology with their children.
They are entirely oblivious to their teenagers' daily chatbot usage.
You're looking at a fundamental generational divide where teenagers view these platforms as basic utilities, much like a search engine or a calculator.
While nearly half of parents are unaware the usage is even occurring.
Sam Altman recently shared a sentiment that this current generation will view high-level artificial intelligence as totally normal.
We are currently stuck in an awkward transition phase. Both our education systems and our broader society are struggling to adapt to the massive operational challenges and the extraordinary opportunities being presented.
We will now shift gears. The daily pace of the AI industry can easily become overwhelming, so we are going to transition into a more measured, deliberate examination of the broader industry news.
We need to slow down the pace and carefully observe how these distinct deployments are taking shape across very different sectors. Let us examine the latest release from Notch Research.
They have launched Hermes Agent. It is an open-source personal agent designed to live entirely locally on your machine.
The architecture here draws direct comparisons to OpenClaw. Because it runs locally, it offers a different privacy profile compared to cloud-based models.
It connects natively directly to Telegram, Discord, Slack, and WhatsApp. The system features over 40 built-in tools right out of the box.
It operates with built-in scheduling to generate your daily reports, execute system backups, and compile detailed briefings without any manual prompting.
Furthermore, the architecture allows it to grow more capable and tailored to your specific workflows the longer it runs on your system.
The entire project is released under an MIT license and requires only a simple one-line installation process.
That one-line installation is crucial because it takes autonomous local agents out of the hands of advanced developers and puts them directly onto laptops of everyday users.
Moving over to enterprise negotiations, Dario Amodei released a formal statement regarding government contracts.
He explicitly rejected the Pentagon's final offer to allow Claude's safeguards to be removed.
The statement noted clearly that external threats do not change their established position.
This is a fascinating look at firm boundary setting in massive enterprise negotiations.
From a purely operational and business standpoint, it is incredibly rare to see a technology company walk away from the sheer scale and financial weight of defense funding.
It sets a very distinct precedent for how major AI laboratories negotiate their foundational API guardrails at the state level.
We also have major news from Quiver AI. They recently emerged from stealth mode to launch the public beta of Arrow 1.0.
This is a specialized SVG generation model. Just to clarify for anyone who doesn't live inside design software, an SVG is a scalable vector graphic.
Instead of being made of tiny pixels like a standard photograph, It is built using mathematical formulas.
That means you can blow it up to the size of a billboard and it will never get blurry or lose quality.
Generating mathematically perfect SVGs is incredibly difficult for standard image models, which usually just output pixel grids.
Aero 1.0 hit the absolute #1 position on the Design Arena SVG leaderboard a mere 1 day after its public launch.
This completely changes the workflow for web developers and graphic designers who need clean, infinitely scalable icons and interface elements generated on the fly.
Over in the enterprise and retail sector, Burger King is initiating the rollout of a system called Patty.
It is an OpenAI-powered chatbot integrated directly inside employee headsets at the drive-thru.
The system functions as an active, real-time coaching tool. It continuously tracks the audio feed to monitor whether the workers are explicitly saying the words "please" and "thank you" to customers during their shifts.
Having an artificial intelligence whisper in your ear while you are actively taking orders and flipping burgers is a completely wild deployment of this technology.
It shows how aggressively large franchise corporations are pushing to use large language models for real-time quality assurance in low-margin environments.
Finally, we observe a major architectural update from Cursor. They have upgraded their cloud agents.
These coding agents now feature their own dedicated virtual machines combined with full desktop control capabilities.
This specific infrastructure update allows the agents to autonomously build, test, and thoroughly validate massive code bases before shipping pull requests.
When we talk about shipping pull requests, we are talking about the final step where new code is proposed to be merged into a company's main software product.
Traditionally, that requires a senior human engineer to carefully review, compile, and validate everything.
Cursor's agents can now spin up their own environment, run the software exactly like a human would, and verify that the new code doesn't break the existing application.
It represents a massive step forward in fully autonomous software development environments.
Let us now move briskly into a rapid-fire rundown of the top trending tools available today. This is a quick toolkit to immediately boost your daily productivity.
First up is Key Visual. This tool automatically syncs your Figma designs directly with your CMS data.
It allows you to generate dynamic, data-rich marketing content on the fly. If you manage a large e-commerce site, you can instantly populate hundreds of design templates with your live product data without manual data entry.
Next is Qto. It operates as an end-to-end platform for creating and editing high-quality commercial videos. It streamlines the entire post-production pipeline natively in the browser.
We also want to highlight TypeBoost. This serves as a personal writing toolkit that functions seamlessly inside any application on your machine.
It utilizes custom prompt actions, meaning you can highlight text in an email, a spreadsheet, or a presentation, and have the AI rewrite or analyze it without ever switching windows.
Then there is Guideless. This tool instantly transforms your normal browser workflows into professional, fully narrated video guides.
Instead of taking 50 separate screenshots to teach a new employee how to use a software dashboard, you simply do the task once.
The tool records the process, writes the script, and generates a professional voiceover explaining exactly where to click.
To briefly recap the major architectural tools we detailed earlier, you have Nano 2, Google's newly dominant image generation model reshaping the economics of visual assets.
You have Aero 1.0, Quiver AI's top-ranked SVG generation model that is now out in public beta for flawless vector graphics.
And you have Cursor agents, providing virtual computer control to autonomously build, test, and ship your complex code bases.
We have covered incredible ground today. But if we take a step back and look at the trajectory of these tools, a new question emerges.
If an AI is autonomously doing the entry-level coding, and another AI is monitoring the baseline customer service at a drive-thru, what happens to the junior-level jobs we traditionally use to train the next generation of human experts?
If artificial intelligence handles all the entry-level repetition across every industry, how do young professionals ever get the foundational experience required to become senior leaders?
We highly encourage you to follow the podcast on your favorite app. Share this episode with a colleague or friend who needs to stay ahead of the curve.
See you in the next episode.